But as we continue on with the text in Jeremiah 18, notice again what he says in verse number 4. But the jar, the vessel that the potter was making from the clay became flawed in the potter's hand. Another translation says marred in the potter's hand. So he made it into another jar as it seemed right for him to do. In other words, there were lumps in the clay. The clay was not smoothing out the way that it was supposed to. It was taking longer to mold. It was taking longer to smooth. The clay needed more attention from the potter in order to be reshaped. But notice how the text says that the potter did not throw the clay away. The text never says that the potter got tired of the clay. The text never says that the potter got bored with the clay. The text never says that the potter said, let me focus on some easier clay and leave this over here. No. The text says that the potter kept working on the clay. The potter took the time to keep molding the clay. The potter took the time to keep working on the clay because he was determined to see the clay put to the use for which it was created. Well, family, this is exactly how our God does with all of us. For all of us are marred in some way. All of us are flawed in some way. All of us have something about us that requires extra work. All of us have lumps in us somewhere. All of us have rough spots somewhere. But somebody needs to know that the potter doesn't mind the extra work. The potter loves you enough to keep on reshaping. The potter loves you enough to keep you on his wheel. And no matter how much he has to pump, no matter how many times he has to turn you around, no matter how many times he has to smooth you around, he's going to keep working on you until you reach your full potential. Only you and God know what flaws exist in your life. Only you and God know what lumps exist in your life. But whatever the case may be, we ought to be grateful that the potter never gives up on us. But there's something else that this story of the potter shows us, and that is that reshaping is a messy process. Did y'all hear that? Reshaping is a messy process. Reshaping is a nasty process. Reshaping is a process that takes time. And in many ways, reshaping can be painful. Reshaping can be very uncomfortable. Reshaping can be inconvenient. Reshaping can get on our nerves. But despite how uncomfortable it may be, the reshaping is necessary. The reshaping is necessary. Nothing that God does is random or by chance. So if God decides to reshape us, that means that God has a reason. There's a reason why God's working on us right now. There's a reason why God keeps us on his wheel right now, because there's something on the inside that he's trying to get out to make room for what belongs there. I remember once, a couple of years ago, my wife and I were getting our daughter Rose ready for bed one night, and my wife began to untangle some hair ties that were double knotted in her head. Now, Rose began to cry and fight because in order to untangle them, my wife had to slightly pull on Rose's hair, and nobody enjoys having their hair pulled because it's very painful, it's very uncomfortable. However, once her mother got the untangling done, once the untangling was over with, Rose was happy and free and no longer tangled up. And she eventually said, "Thank you, Mama, because I feel a whole lot better." The process was painful. The process was uncomfortable, but it was worth it in the end. Well, family, in a likewise manner, the untangling can be painful. The untangling can be uncomfortable. And some of us would rather stay tangled up than go through the process of the untangling. But God says, I love you too much to let you stay entangled. I love you too much to let you stay in your mess. But I'm going to take as long as it takes to untangle you. I don't care if you cry. I don't care if you throw a fit. I don't care if you get mad at me. I love you too much to let you stay in your mess. So if God is untangling you right now, just know that eventually you gonna be free. Eventually you gonna feel better. Eventually it's gonna be worth it in the end, and you gonna be saying, "Thank you, Lord, because I'm no longer tangled up. Thank you, Lord, because I'm no longer in this mess. Thank you, Lord, because I feel so much better because you made me untangled." And just like Rose's mother knew what she was doing with the knots. God knows how to untangle every knot that we find ourselves in. God knows how to smooth out every lump that we've got. God knows how to handle every flaw that we've got. And I want to let y'all know he's untangled me a time or two. He's untangling me right now, and it's getting on my nerves. I'll be honest with you. All the mess in my life right now, I know that he's doing some untangling, but I'm looking forward because I know the untangling doesn't last forever. The untangling eventually comes to an end, and you're better at the end than you were at the beginning. So if you're getting untangled right now, just know better is on the way. Better is on the way.